All right. My name is Ken O'Gonic, and I am so excited to be having this meeting here with Ginger and Nate. And we are here to talk about health and wellness. And Ginger, this is really big in partnership of you and how many people you've been helping with the brand that you've been building. And we've been partnering together now for a while. And we're excited to kind of share what's going on out there, the biggest pain points that are going on with people like maintaining health and wellness over the long term. And I think we're able to address today a lot of the things that are attacking the root of the situation and really helping people find a way and a path that's easy to get to where they want to go, or should I say simple to get to where they want to go, and then
Yeah.
maintain that success for a lifestyle change. And so I'm really excited to, have you share what you've been doing, what's going on, and where we can support you in all of that.
No, no, absolutely. Last week when we were talking, I thought we have to get together and do kind of a podcast webinar and talk about all the things we're talking about because I just immediately wanted to do a TikTok video and just be like, this is what I learned today about this, and it solves so many problems for us. So thank you so much for having me on. A lot of people ask me for advice. They ask me for, what peptide should I use? Well, what can I do? And that's kind of interesting because I'm not a doctor.
Hmm.
I didn't even go to medical school, but I think for me personally, I hit 49 years old and I just had been to 10 doctors and I was just not finding the answers that I needed. I was really frustrated. I knew I typically wasn't overweight. I wasn't eating a ton, but I was gaining weight. I felt achy, inflammation, all these things. And I feel like social media has been a huge blessing for me to be able to hear from other people what was working. And I think probably about 4 years ago when I found out about GLP medication, I started on the old semaglutide, Wegovy, and kind of went from there and lost over almost 90 pounds now. I started sharing that with other people because, like, hey, you guys, there's something that works. It's not just, hey, eat less and exercise more, which wasn't working. So I think in just sharing that journey, what I accidentally did was I think I've helped a lot of people lose weight and get their lives back, women specifically. And I mean, it's been a crazy ride. So a lot of us are like, well, now what? Like we've lost all of the weight. We're scared to death to get off of our GLP medications. There's people that in my peptide community that are reaching out to me to say, hey, I still have 40 pounds to go. I've completely stalled out. My doctor doesn't know what to do. What can I do? I'm like, I don't know.
Mhm.
And I think that that's when I started. I didn't know I was searching for you guys, but that's when I found you probably through just trying to find a solution because I think what happened is we didn't probably didn't eat properly like we should have. We didn't really exercise like we probably should have because we were so excited to not have to do that.
Mm.
And a lot of us lost a lot of muscle tone. And I feel like that can't even hold my bottoms up in my bikini bottoms because I don't have any, muscle there. And that's kind of what brought me to you guys and why I found it really interesting is looking for a supplement, something that was not an injection, but a this bioactive precision peptide that I could take, in line with my GLP. Because right now that's where I am. I'm on a very low dose of a GLP medication, retatrutide to be specific, and just pairing that supplement and getting back into the gym, I'm seeing huge results. And
Mhm.
I just want to kind of get the word out. I know for me, I didn't really understand really how the supplement was different. There's a ton of supplements out there, and I didn't believe. I know you guys, I had kind of been chatting with you guys a little bit, but I didn't really understand how it really worked until Nate shared something with me the other day. So I'm actually going to hand it over to you. This is Nate. I'll let him introduce himself, but he kind of explained to me how these bioactive precision peptides really work and how they could be a benefit to us.
Yeah, well, thanks. Let me give you a little of my background. I've been in the health industry since '99, so dating myself a little bit, but started as a sports massage therapist. I was working with professional teams up in the Seattle area, and then did that for a little while, dabbled in that. But I really loved the body and just how the body transforms. And right about that time, I went through American College of Sports Medicine, and my parents actually ended up passing away in a car accident, and found myself just searching for something. And so I got into bodybuilding, and this is before social media, but really created a name for myself as I became a national and then a professional bodybuilder. And so I ended up opening up first a supplement store with a private studio in the back, and outgrew that really quickly, opened up a gym, and that's kind of where my journey started. And so later on, got married to my beautiful wife. She was also in the fitness realm, and we went on to build three different businesses to a seven-figure level because we just help a lot of people. And we, just like you, we've utilized social media to really get the word out there and create nutritional programs and things that really work alongside. And so, when we started seeing the synthetics coming out, we saw that people were losing massive amounts of weight. But what the doctors were starting to report was about a 40% lean body mass loss as well. And just like you talked about, what that does long term is it starts to decrease your metabolism. Obviously, you start to lose muscle. So your ability just to operate and function at a high level. And when you decrease lean body mass, you're also increasing inflammation and your chances for autoimmune disease and cancers and those kind of things. And so we have to be very intentional about understanding those things so we can reverse those things and we can, like you said, bring things alongside. And so what we ran across and decided to dive in about a year ago, we stepped away from our business to really kind of launch this, was something called BioActive Precision Peptides. And what we saw is that a lot of people are losing a lot of weight with injections, but a lot of people don't like to do injections. That's something that scares a lot of people. And so we saw an opportunity when we partnered with a company that's invested the last 10 years, $150 million in AI and peptide research. And so they're really leading in that area. And what they've discovered is with AI is there's peptides all over the place. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that will say, well, we have these peptides or we have these, but we need cell signaling peptides. Okay, there's only certain strands because if you think of a peptide, it's really amino acids that are joined together with bonds. And when you have synthetics, those bonds are very weak. And so what happens is you have to inject them or they won't make it through the stomach acid. And so what they found in nature is that they can find these bioactive precision peptides that will cell signal, and those bonds are actually wrapped with other peptides. And so they allow it to work through the system and get to the cells where they can signal. And we are seeing amazing results from these.
That's huge. That part right there, where it's peptide wrapped with the peptide.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a bacon wrap, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Filet mignon is really good, but wrapped in bacon is better. The messages that I get in the community, see, people aren't telling their doctors what they're worried about because they're afraid they're going to get their GLP taken away. I know this.
Yep.
I know that they're afraid to communicate this, but they're in this community of other people saying, hey, Ginger, like, here's some of the issues we're having. I don't want to give my GLP up, but what other peptides can I stack with this?
Yep.
And I always say, I don't know, go ask your doctor. And they're like, my doctor doesn't know about this, wants nothing to do with this. And so they're at this point, like, where do I go? This is something I feel comfortable saying, hey, my dad has lost 55 pounds at age 75. I'm like, dude, you got to get back in the gym. Your legs are like toothpicks. And I know you like being skinny, but you're 75. We're going to start having some falls, some breaks, I'm worried. And so, he's even on this and I feel really good just because it is so natural. So I'm really excited. I mean, so talk a little bit about the product and how they kind of work together. And talk a little bit about, because I know everybody's like, oh, have more protein, lift weights. But how does fit specifically work? And, I know that last time I talked to Jen, she was talking about how it increases even more protein than just having a protein drink. Like, how does that part of it work?
Yeah, so the product she's talking about is Fit. It's designed, again, it's cell signaling. So what I want you to think about is with these bioactive precision peptides is they're actually helping the body to upregulate and work at a higher level, a higher capacity. So it's just helping everything be more efficient at what it's doing. And so one of the things that it does is it 4X's protein synthesis. So if you're taking in protein, it 4X's that, which means your body's ability to utilize that to build lean body mass is huge, right? And again, the studies are now showing that everything, like the fountain of youth, really has to do with how much lean body mass you consistently keep as you get older, right? And so as our hormones change and as we naturally are less active, those types of things. And so if I go and talk to a guy that's working out at the gym, it's hard to tell if a guy is using creatine or he's on TRT or if he's taking steroids or any of those other things. But what's really showed me how well these products are working, especially the fit, is I had a girl in 3 weeks. She does hip thrusts on a regular basis at the gym. Her hip thrusts increased by 100 pounds over 3 weeks. And I'm not saying that every person is going to have that kind of result, but that was amazing. And we're seeing that, woman after woman after woman. And just like you were talking about, I was talking to a lady. I want to say she's like 68. And the same thing as you just said, she's like, I've been on a GLP-1. She's like, I've lost about 80 pounds. She's like, I'm really skinny. She goes like this, and she has this loose skin here. She's like,
Yes.
Nate, my doctor's telling me that I have to get off it, and I don't want to get off it. I'm so scared.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I started talking to her about was, well, let's do this. Before you get off that, let's give you a foundation of these bioactive peptides that you can take in conjunction with that. And this is
Yeah.
why we got a lot of doctors getting on board. I mean, we have over 200 doctors. We've only been doing this for 8 months, and I just got off of a meeting with one about half an hour before we got on this. And she's a plastic surgeon, and she's like, I want to be utilizing this stuff because I want to prepare them. And so the same thing with, you'll see doctors, they do the fit because the fit is going to increase protein synthesis. It also helps recovery. It helps decrease inflammation. It's going to help with strength and endurance, all those things. The hydration, because the more we're hydrated, it's not about drinking more water. It's about getting the water into the cell. And so you need a certain ratio of glycine and ours has something called Solar C Sport AC, which is it's a certain amount of minerals that
Hmm.
essentially it acts as an IV fluid bag, and
Wow.
it increases the cell. Like I have a doctor, a sports doctor, that he's like, outside of taking an IV, he's like, there is nothing better that you could take out there. And so that's going to improve everything that you're doing, including weight loss. Right. And then the other one that I would say would be really good is a product called Calm. It decreases cortisol levels. So when you're talking about, when they start to hit that wall, some of that's lean body mass, some of it's hydration, but a lot of it also, it's just stress that we're dealing with. The
Yeah.
body, when the cortisol levels are high and you're dealing with mental or physical stress, it slows the process of everything down. And so those are three products that you could take during that period of time. And then I was talking to a couple specialists that were saying, okay, if we were going to utilize these and then we're going to start to help progressively get people off of the GLP-1s and the synthetics, what is another product that we could bring in? And we have a product called Lean that essentially what it does is it works with hunger hormones. So your GLP-1s are going to slow down the gut absorption, right? This is actually going to allow it to speed back up. It's going to start to get rid of the inflammation within your gut, but it's going to work with your hunger hormones so that it takes that edge off. And so we only bring that in if you start to get really hungry and you start to crave as you're coming off of that slowly.
You packed a lot in that suitcase just then. Because I was like taking mental notes. I have 7 daughters and they're always like, Mom, you're not listening. I'm like, oh girl, I am putting notes back because I want to talk about every little point you just talked about and validate what you just said. So it's not really a mommy makeover because I'm 52 and I had my kids so long ago that but it's more of I want to be more fit. I don't want to have these implants in anymore. I want to be more active. I had 3 baby C-section, and I have sagging skin from losing weight. And I do want to get back in the gym and once I have this surgery, I'm having this surgery in 30 days. And I went in and I talked to my doctor. I said, I want to take all of these peptides and I want to track all this, and I'm going to do this on my YouTube channel and share this on my social media with people and just be like, this is me, everyone. This is what it looks like when you lose 90 pounds and you did your best in the gym. But sometimes we need some intervention from a plastic surgeon. And my plastic surgeon was like, you need to get off of GOP medications 1 month before, not 2 weeks, 1 month before. And you need to be slamming protein because you're going to need protein to heal your body. You need protein and you're going to need the calories when the surgery is done afterwards to your body's going to need to do some extra work that it's not used to doing and you're going to need extra protein.
Mhm.
And I talked to him about these bioactive precision peptides and he was like, go for it. Let's see, I'm doing a hyperbaric chamber immediately after my surgery, to help, get my cells and everything functioning the way it should. And so many people have asked me, what do I do? What if my doctor takes me off? What if you have to be off it for a couple of months? What if you're traveling? And I'm scared to death. It's been 3 years since I've been off of GLP medication, but I took my last dose and immediately I had already been taking Fit and Hydrate because I don't drink near enough water.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go ahead and incorporate Calm and Lean. And I'm going to take all of those four, and I'm going to take those for the next 60 days, 30 days before the surgery, and then after to see how I do, because I may not need to get back on.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of influencers are afraid to say that because I'm pro GLP, I'm pro synthetic peptides. Like I have a peptide community, but I want to say to everyone, like, hey, this is what's working. And you need to advocate for your body. And you need to not let other people tell you what drug to take, oh, eat less, exercise more. Like, something's wrong in your body. And if there is something out there that scientifically is proven to work, why wouldn't you
Mhm.
pair it in with what you're doing?
I want to just play off of what you said, that 60 days, I think is just such an important factor for so many people to consider. I think that there's, like you're saying, influencers out there. There's so much mixed messaging around quick fixes, and GLP-1s and synthetics have created an amazing success rate. But when we're talking about some of the things that we're doing here, it's small little disciplines that build up over time that create long-term outcome of performance that not a lot of people maybe are familiar with in this space that are dealing exactly with what you're dealing there. And so it's awesome that you're kind of getting forced into that based on your procedure, which is awesome. But I think it's really important for anyone that's looking at this as a journey is that looking at it for a 60-day period of time and measuring what they're doing, what their performance is, how their clothes are feeling, how their exercise, their recovery from exercise feels, and then measuring that over time. Because you're not like, this is the, I think it's really important for everyone to know is like, you're not going to like take one of these things like fit and be like, oh my gosh, I feel fit or more fit immediately. It's something that
Right.
you have to measure over time and have the discipline to know that I'm doing this for the long haul of 60 days. And then I'm going to be able to look back and be like, oh, look at where I was 60 days ago, and now look at where I'm at. And that's sometimes challenging for people that are in this exact space. And so I wanted to make sure that we highlight like you're focusing on this for a 60-day period of time. You're measuring against strength, recovery, sleep. I think one of the really important parts, and Nate talked about it, is like the kind of sleep you can get on these products based on your body getting nutrited, getting the right nutrients. So then it can shut down and recover correctly, right? Because there's a whole level of recovery of sleep and then recovery during activity. And these products are supporting both. And that's where you're going to start to notice things that maybe you wouldn't even consider to be benefits from what you're doing here. But you're going to be very excited that that's the benefit you're getting because you're like, man, I didn't know I needed this, but now I want it and I want to keep doing it no matter what.
For sure. I mean, Nate, you can talk about this too, what's up and coming, but one of the other issues when you're in this pocket of 45 to 65, this premenopausal post after weight loss, slurry of goodness, is that we're not sleeping. We're out there, one thing I don't think enough people talk about is GLP medications, especially tirzepatide. I know there's studies out there that it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and people are like, is it just my imagination or do I have increased anxiety on this? Like, I'm totally fine with it. I'm skinny and I'm neurotic now, but that's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not because I already struggle with ADHD and I was not getting any sleep. And it's funny because when Nate was telling me about what was coming with Make Wellness and this whole sleep element, I was already taking Calm mixed with Dissip with the delta sleep inducing peptide. And, it doesn't work like an Ambien, like you were saying. It works more like helping you with your sleep cycles.
Mhm.
So, because our sleep cycles are completely out of whack.
Mhm.
So, Calm is interesting because it's not going to just make you, it's not like an edible. It's
Good.
not going to like, hey, dude, how's it going? It just makes you not worry about what you had to worry about
Mhm.
that day. And like you said, it made sense when you said it kind of helps bring the cortisol level down. And I think that's where a lot of men see belly fat. Women, cortisol from just worrying about everyone in their lives. And when you combine that with the increased muscle, and my daughter the other day, she has a hard time sleeping. And she said, well, what did you do this weekend? I said, I slept from 10 to 11:30. She goes, good Lord, Mom, that's like a college student. And I'm like, I know. And I did it for like 5 days in a row. I'm starting to wonder if I have a tumor or I feel great. I think the things together, I think have been really great. You also, and I also want you to talk about the sleep, but I don't want to forget about it. You mentioned that you had a woman who was on fit and she was doing hip thrusts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually I've have a ton, thousands in my inbox of supplement companies asking me to talk about their products. And I'm like, nah, no, thanks. No, it's hard to really judge and see if it's working. Ken U's like, it's not like it's going to be like take a fit and immediately you're like, wow, I feel zingy. Um, I've been tracking my muscle versus my fat loss on my R belief scale, and I've seen a huge uptick in muscle that I wasn't getting before with just weightlifting. So, but yeah, share with us. Are you allowed to share with us the
Yeah. Yeah.
sleep stuff
Yeah.
that's coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in November, we're going to launch another product. So I didn't realize this until they started really doing the research, but sleep is a $585 billion industry. And I was just like, whoa, I'm blown away. It's more than weight loss. It's more than anything else. That means there's a problem in that there's a problem in that area, right? And so the Calm helps you to decrease cortisol levels. It helps you to wind down. But what they want to create is a product that rejuvenates you so that the next day, there's so many products out there that knock you out, like you were talking about, but then the next day you don't feel well. And so
Mhm.
it's built off of four pillars. It's helping you to get to sleep. It's helping you to get into REM and deep sleep where you recover. It's helping you to wake up. So they're actually showing studies that people are waking up before their alarm clock on a regular basis when taking this product. And then it helps you to feel good energy the next day. And so that's going to come out in I believe that the middle of November, and super excited to add that to the regimen because that is such a big piece of health. And so yeah, so looking forward to that.
That's a big piece of it too, because my daughter and I went on a cruise. She's a single mom. And she said, I'm really struggling, Mom. I've been trying to get up earlier so I can get to work on time. And she said, my problem is I'm a night owl like you. And she said, by the time I'm actually getting to sleep, then I can't wake up. I'm like, well, that's because you're trying to wake up in the middle of your deep sleep.
Mhm.
Like you haven't planned your sleep time, the way that you need to wake up. Like trying to wake up out of a deep sleep is almost impossible. You're not going to hear your alarm. And, but she doesn't have any. She's like, what do I take? And, Sominex to help me shut my brain down.
Yeah.
Like if you after work say, okay, I don't know how this is going to look, Nate, but if you said, okay, I'm gonna have my calm, having my dinner, my calm, trying to have my dinner early so it doesn't sit on my belly all night, and I'm having my calm, and I'm preparing myself, put your phone away at 9, 10 o'clock, and when you sleep well, everybody craves good sleep.
It's called the circadian rhythm. And so once you have that, that alone is going to help you just to function better. It's going to help you, when you wake up to actually be more alert, but also to function at a higher level in the way that you think and operate those types of things. So
Nate knows I've geeked out about this so much, right? Because the big part that I love about Calm was the product of all the products. And I had an amazing story because I was also on synthetics, right? I ruptured my bicep in September of last year, and I was doing BPC 157 and TB 500 and doing my normal protocol and recovering. And that was all good and great. But I started implementing, make products right away, fit, hydration, Calm, and I started seeing like recovery faster than most people could even fathom. Like my surgeon told me at 4 months out, he's like, I've never seen someone do 20 pull-ups 4 months after a post, complete distal biceps rupture. So it was completely detached. The whole thing popped up, pop by arm, everything. And the thing that I fell in love with the most was Calm. And I think the really cool thing, like we've all talked about, is there's a lot of products out there to support and sleep. But if you're anything like me, sometimes you don't get all the sleep you want and it messes you up, right? If you take a whole bunch of melatonin, you fall asleep really well, and then you wake up only on 6 hours of sleep, like the next day is killer. Like it's almost the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? In that situation. But Calm is really interesting, right? Because you could take it with 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, but it maximizes your recovery of that. And this is the initial product, right? Calm wasn't even originally supposed to be a support sleep product, but like the market around Make has just shown that it's like, hey, we need to get into this because everyone's talking about it. And now, we are here where we're here. Something I've completely geeked out on is like a daylight alarm is something that I highly encourage everyone to take advantage of, where it's something that wakes you up through natural light versus a sound or anything of that sort. So you set your alarm to a certain time. So 15 minutes before I'm supposed to be getting up, a light just starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter, and there's no sound. And then you just wake up to a light. And it literally, that plus calm has changed my like recovery of life. Like I wake up feeling great and ready to attack the day. I was always like never a morning person. And this is
Right.
coming from being a personal trainer for 17 years and getting up between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. the whole time. And I still was never a morning person. But now, even with kids and everything else, like I can get up 4:30 and just go and not even have caffeine right away in the morning. And it's because of that combination of calm and a daylight alarm that has absolutely changed how I'm recovering from the day before.
I think too, like how you take your calm, like the way it comes into your body too. Like we haven't even talked about that.
Mhm.
I haven't even launched that video yet, but Nate, talk about how it's like a pixie stick. That's how you like it hits you right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, anytime you put anything in your mouth, you have so many capillaries in your mouth that you can actually absorb faster than going through the digestive tract. So it's set up, like the those of us that are old enough to remember what the pixie sticks were, right? The little sugar packets that you'd put in your mouth. It's set up like that, and it tastes really good. It's like maybe like a lemon tart or something like that. But it's a nice little treat. It's designed to decrease cortisol levels and stress. However, I have doctors that actually use that, and we're not going to talk about this today, but use that in the focus for ADHD and ADD patients. So, and it works really, really well. And so there's just so many different things. We have 6 different products today. We just wanted to highlight 4 of them
Yeah.
based off of the audience. But I mean, we'll have to have another one of these conversations and really dive into some of that stuff.
I feel like for right now, this is a really great pairing for anybody on a GLP medication in a non-medical advice way to say this to everyone. This is a great pairing. It has been for me. I think it's going to be great for me going into surgery, having to come off of my GLP medication, people who are wanting to come off of it, people who didn't want to do a GLP medication and have, 10 to 20 pounds to lose that just can't quite get it to move. I think they've been amazing. And I definitely want to get behind it and talk more about it. I've had an overwhelming response from just the peptide community being on it and also physicians that one of the things that I do is I'll help physicians find pharmacies to pair up with to get good pricing so they can help their patients and even helping pharmacies find raw materials, right, for all of this stuff. So I really can see behind the curtain and doctors even are coming to me saying, where can I get educated on peptides?
Mhm.
How can I help all of these patients that keep coming out saying, hey, can you get this for me? And they've been really great. They've wanted to, learn more, and they also want to help their patients have an exit strategy or have a plan for the future so they can be healthy not only today, but even in the future as older people. So I'm excited.
I can't underscore what you said earlier enough that yes, we're talking here specifically for people that most likely are on some sort of synthetic or they're trying to make a transition and trying to maintain success and feel confident in that, which that in itself is a battle and an important one to win, right? Just being able to get off and feeling okay with that, right? Not terrified about any meal you're about to eat or a short, weekend vacation you're going to go on and what you're going to eat, what's going to be like. Like we don't need that stress. We don't need that angst, and that's not going to help us get to where I want to go. But so to be able to have something with a product and a system and be able to step into that in confidence, I think is entirely important. But where I get really excited because all I want to do is make the world healthier and help people feel good, look good, and be happy in their own body. And be able to bring a product to the cellular level that's actually creating massive change without changing much. Like Nate said earlier, like the girl with the hip thrust, she didn't change anything. She just started doing this. And then all of a sudden, she maximized current program. That is so exciting to me because that means almost anyone, wherever they're at, can start this at a very little in commitment and get better results than what they're doing. And I've been in this space for 17 years, not as long as Nate, but it's very rare that you find a product like that that can have that type of benefit, right? Because even a synthetic, like there's really good benefits, but there are also some trade-offs that maybe not we're not happy out, and we're trying to figure out trade-offs. So I get really excited about the scale of which that this is trying to support people, and it's really hard not to get really excited and try it for a couple months and see how it works for people.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that needs to be addressed too. It's just cost. I know what people pay for peptides. I know what I pay for peptides. And I mean, think about your budget even. It's a fraction of the cost of what peptides, good ones. I'm not even going to talk about gray market right now, but there are I would say American-made peptides here in the United States, the labs that are creating those peptides here, and they're FDA inspected labs and their quality, even if you look at those, I'm not even talking about what you get from a pharmacy. I'm talking about even if you just found a really good quality manufacturer here, the pricing is still half of that. And to be able to be on a product that's organic to your body and that you can feel good about sharing like with your parents, like myself, I'm just super excited and stoked to be a part of this. I want to share it with everybody. I know for me, we have our peptide community. I think we'll provide a link, obviously, for people to check it out if they want to look into the different products. I know you guys offer some bundles now to bundle things together that that work really well together. I don't know, Nate, if you want to just touch really quickly on those.
We've found we have one called the Muscle and Metabolic System, and it's three of those products that are bundled together that we see help increase lean body mass, hydrate, and lose body fat, very quickly. That'd probably be one of the ones that you would start with and add Calm to that. You're going to get a discount with that, and then we also have a subscription that you can set up so that you're saving a 10% discount on top of that. So like she said, the products are very, very affordable. And the longer you're on a subscription, actually, the cheaper they get. So it's set up really good for somebody that's creating a lifetime of habits.
I hope this isn't our last
Heck
little
no.
podcast
We'll come
together.
back.
This is
We're
fun.
gonna have to do this. We're opening up a lot of different doors that we need to talk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna make some of my doctors get on here too that are loving it too.